Once again, it's on. Hey, it's yours truly, Lorenzo Ice-T Thomas of the Sports Brothers, and it's going down. Super Bowl 54, and right now I'm on South Beach at the Clevelander. Why are we on South Beach? It's all about First Take. Yours truly, Lorenzo Ice-T Thomas, and of course my man Jeff Fox. He's inside right now talking to Stephen A. Smith, and let's see how things went down.
Thank you, Lorenzo. We're back here with an old friend on the set of First Take, Stephen A. Smith, here for the Super Bowl, of course. First thing I want to say, man, is thank you for the hospitality that you've shown the Sports Brothers over the years.
No
you
problem.
are our first big interview.
I'm proud of y'all.
Always appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Next question. You love being here on South Beach. Mm-hmm. You made that no secret.
Yep.
Let's talk about our Miami Heat, because we didn't see this coming. We're local. What do you think of this basketball team? I heard you on the show mention we're one piece away. What is that?
I'm incredibly excited. I've been talking to Pat Riley and the Miami Heat organization for months about this. I love what I'm seeing. Jimmy Butler's my guy. We go back a long ways. I got a lot of love for him. He's like a brother to me. But then I look at guys like Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. They ready to shoot from the parking lot, man. Mm-hmm. And this kid Kendrick Nunn is special. And to see their youth. And the fact that they have little to no conscience,
right? No
fear, and to know who Jimmy Butler is, and then to see a guy like Adebayo and these boys, I just love what I'm seeing, man. They've got an open court game, they've got an aerial assault, they play above the rim, they have shooters, they have ball handlers. To me, they still need to find an identity in terms of understanding who the ball is going to in crunch time. Mm-hmm. I've told Jimmy himself that, the Jordans of the world, the Kobes of the world, the LeBrons of the world, and others, as great as they were and are, they gave the ball up to somebody else when it counted. So sometimes you can use your greatness to draw attention and get somebody else the ball. And I think that he's going to have to do that, and ain't nothing wrong with passing the ball to Hero or Robinson or Nunn. Mm-hmm. And so when you look at it from that perspective, I think the only thing the Heat are missing is a little size. Yeah. I think they need a goonish type figure, somebody that's physical, that's going to block shots, rebound, and just is going to be a defensive presence that's on the floor. And I think if they pull that off, they could beat anybody in the East. Yeah. They go to the NBA Finals. Wow. So, to speculate about what they're going to do, I would tell you that they'll make it to the conference semifinals, that they can easily make it to the conference finals, and I think they're a piece away from going to the NBA Finals.
Stephen A. Smith, First Take. We know about your relationship with the late Kobe Bryant. It affected me. I'm still affected by it. I saw the Lakers last night. I felt their pain. How did it affect you personally? And talk about your relationship with Kobe.
He was my man. He was my brother. We were real tight. We talked all the time. We brought in a new year together. We were partying together on New Year's Eve in Bel Air. He was a brother that was absolutely brilliant. He was an assassin on the court. And he was big about, pursuing excellence in anything that you elected to do. I remember one time I introduced him to my godson, and my godson was bragging about having a 3.5 GPA. Right. And Kobe looked at him and said, okay, so explain to me why it's not a 4.0. Where's the other 0.5? What you doing? Right. You got a job, you got bills to pay, you got a career going on. He said, you ain't got nothing but time to be excellent, so why aren't you? Right. And so, that was Kobe. And he was talking to me, and we were making plans to work together with ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and all of this other stuff. And we go back 20 years. We've had our ups and downs together, mostly ups. But he was a great man. He was a great father. Loved his daughter, loved all his daughters, but especially Gigi. He was so proud of her, and he was like, she's gonna be the one. He was telling people like myself and Jay-Z and them, like, wait till you see her play. She's gonna go to UConn. She's gonna be an All-American. She's gonna go to the WNBA. He said that she's it, and he was so proud of her, and he was something special, man. And to speak Italian, Spanish, and English fluently. German and Mandarin was next on his list. I think he had pulled off one, if not both, but I never asked. And to be an Academy Award winner, to be 41 years of age, rich beyond measure, and to still play and work every day like he was broke and starving and going for it. He put lazy people to shame. He put some hard-working people to shame. And to know that he's gone is bad enough. To know how it went down tragically in a helicopter accident. He took helicopters every day. Yeah. That was his mode of transportation. was even worse. But then to know that his 13-year-old daughter was with him. If you are a father and you love your daughter, you know good and well what he was doing in the end. He was grabbing her, and he was telling her it was going to be all right, knowing that it wasn't. And that perhaps is the worst part of all of this, and it just breaks my heart.
Yeah, it broke mine too, man. Brought me to tears because I have 3 daughters myself and a son, so I know the feeling. I want to talk about the NFL real quick. Not about the Super Bowl, but the Miami Dolphins. You always talk about diversity in the NFL. You're a champion for that. We have Brian Flores, we have Chris Greer in our front office. How can we get more of this around the NFL?
Well, you got to have executives, owners that are socially conscious. We just saw a brother that was with the Philadelphia Eagles last year get hired as the general manager for the Cleveland Browns. That is a plus.
That's big.
You still got Chris Greer in Miami, who's hiring brothers left and right. He's not being given enough credit for the brothers that he's employing. That's a plus. And listen, black folks make up about 13 to 14% of the population.
Right.
It's not like there's 32 teams, so, oh my God, we should have 10 jobs or we should have 15 jobs. It's not about the number. It's about making sure that the process is fair. If there were 4 or 5 African Americans that were executives in the National Football League, I would be very, very proud of that.
Yes.
My issue is not necessarily with the numbers, although it needs to increase. My interest is in a process that's not being followed. We have a Rooney Rule in place that encourages you to interview African American candidates for head coaching and GM positions, although it should be for coordinating positions as well. We get that.
Yeah.
The other side to it, however, is that you got a guy like this Coach Judge from New England. You weren't even a coordinator, and you got the head coaching job, and they're surrounding you with head coaches, and Jason Garrett, Kitchens, and others that had head coaching experience, clearly indicating they don't believe you are prepared.
Right.
But they love the promise that you show. Well, how come you never love the promise that African Americans show? Unless we have to go through the proper channels and the proper layers before we get those jobs. Why is it that the same isn't applicable to the white counterparts that are getting these jobs? These are the kind of things that I'm concerned about. Freddie Kitchens, I have nothing against this man, and he didn't do a great job in Cleveland this year, and he deserved to be fired, but I hope he gets another head coaching job down the line, because I don't think it was incompetence. I think that too much was given too soon. This guy went from a positional coach to a coordinator to the head coach of the Cleveland Browns in 8 months. Who does that?
That's absurd.
And so those, and I'm saying that would never, ever, ever happen for black people. And so when we recognize that, let's understand that if we really, really want to hold them accountable, make sure we do so by highlighting to white America and those white folks in position of power, if you're going to ignore, ostracize, or marginalize African Americans, at least have the decency to do it for white folks who went through the proper levels and layers and channels before they got these jobs.
Exactly.
Right? Because then now we're talking about blacks becoming coordinators and things of that nature. So you can knock those barriers down. But when you just sit up there and throw barriers aside, and you're just promoting people willy-nilly out of nowhere, and there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason or any kind of process or criteria that folks have to live up to, black folks don't stand a chance. And I think that it's time that we stand up and we start really, really hollering about that reality. It's not about whether or not we get the jobs or not. It's about the seeming absence of a criteria for the people you want to give the jobs to get the jobs. There is no criteria.
Right.
And that's what, to me, needs to be addressed.
And here we are on the doorstep of the Super Bowl, and Eric Bieniemy, what do you tell a guy like him?
Nothing. He can't do anymore. He can't do it. He's calling plays for the most prolific offense in football and can't get a head coaching job. But Kevin Stefanski, whose offense was incredibly predictable in the postseason against Minnesota, had a job waiting for him in Cleveland. Jason Garrett gets fired after 10.5 inept years with the Dallas Cowboys, or 9.5 inept years with the Dallas Cowboys, in terms of underachieving, because he did have a winning record.
Right.
But he's immediately the offensive coordinator. You got this kid Judge from New England, wasn't even a coordinator. He gets a job.
You just look. I mean, you got this coach out of Baylor, Rule, who did a damn good job in college at Baylor. But did he do such a good job at Baylor
Shot to the
that
top.
he gets a $60 million contract plus the Carolina Panthers paying Baylor $6 million to buy him out? These are the kind of things that should be alarming to all of us, and I don't think it is.
You, Stephen A. Smith, ESPN First Take. Thank you so much, man.
All right, man.
Appreciate you.
Y'all take it
Back
easy.
to you, Lorenzo.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Well, that does it for this edition of Review and Preview. Keep it locked in. We'll give you updates of everything that's going on South Beach for Super Bowl 54. For Jeff Fox, I'm Lorenzo Ice-T Thomas, and we're the Sports Brothers.